One Night with Steiny.
One Night with Steiny. Shout out Tulsa and Nelk. This is just about me being myself. Gonna be chaotic. I can't guarantee anything. All I can guarantee is that you're gonna be entertained. How can I join OVO?
You can keep DMing Drake or keep
By the way,
paying.
I like OVO.
How do you know that I do that?
I know you DM Drake all the time. I know.
How do you know that?
You paid me $3,000 on Venmo one time to text him for you.
Dude.
One Night with Steiny.
One Night with Steiny, baby. Let's go.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
It is 11 o'clock, hour number 2 of Three Man Front. Appreciate you tuning us in on this Thursday. Jamie Watson was just on the show, gave us a preview of tonight's United States men's national team as they take on Turkey A.
I love Jamie. Jamie's great. He would be great just to have every morning when you woke up, if you were feeling down and you really wanted to go and attack the day. I think Jamie would be a great person to help you do that.
So Turkey is plus 285 tonight against the United States. So basically, Turkey is a bigger underdog than Conrad is to Hastings.
Whoa!
And Monday night. Or Monday afternoon, I should say. Because that is a 280. So.
Have we got with Brian, have the odds changed at all on Hastings or
No,
Conrad? Do you think we'll get any movement?
It's holding firm. I think both sides are kind of establishing their war lines, so to speak. So, yeah. We're going to go to Tuscaloosa momentarily and talk to Rodney Orr as he will join the program, as should be a very interesting conversation based on what we have discussed this week about Alabama recruiting.
You need somewhere to take care of your automobile, whether it's your air conditioner. Now the hot months are here. You're going to have stifling heat. You want to make sure that thing is operating at optimum efficiency. Or if it's maybe a belt, a hose, a noise, a light that comes on in your automobile you're not sure of, well, there's a place that I'm sure of, and I'm telling you about it if you never heard it. The Garage in Pelham, thegarageandpelham.com. That is the website. Check it out, all the services. But first and foremost, check out the 5-star ratings across the board, and people from all over the state of Alabama continue to bring their cars, trucks, and SUVs to the Garage in Pelham because of the outstanding service they've received. Over 2 decades, they've been in business. Clean, professional lobby. They're going to take care of you, always treating, whether it's your wife, your daughter, your girlfriend, significant other, going in with the utmost respect. Check them out. Right now, you get the $25 off AC check coupon. They got the new diagnostic machines, can handle even the newest refrigerants, or $50 off of any AC repair. Just good folks that are going to take care of you. That's what you need to know. Thegarageandpelham.com. Tell Bob, Robert, Richie, or anyone there that Landrum from Jock sent you. What is he doing in there? In real time, we'll take you behind the curtain. Conrad is, I mean,
we're sitting here.
I'm sorry. It
was like Conrad was at a career fair.
I mean, call him after the show and y'all can talk.
I know.
And Rodney being nice.
To do.
Rodney being nice, trying to answer all of Conrad's questions.
Oh, my gosh.
But I looked up at the clock and I went, good
I know.
grief.
We're sitting here going, what are we doing
Well,
here?
I heard Landrum doing his thing, and I was like, oh, I got a second. And I was like, okay.
Well, no, the reason he was doing his thing is because you were on the phone having your own talk show in the other room.
Well, it works out.
It's called Stretch.
Yeah, we both won. It's great. Sorry, I asked him all the good questions already. So
he rehearsed all these good answers on you. All right, well, here we go.
Yeah, let's why not?
Rodney.
Let's give it a go with Rodney.
Yep.
From Tighter Insider. Landrum and I both would like to apologize for you for you being ambushed like that before you come on. That's not the way that we do business here.
I learned we had some mutual acquaintances, and that's what it was about.
Oh,
okay.
Well, now I kind of want to hear more.
I really don't.
I mean,
Let's just get to
he
recruiting.
just knows some Tighter Insider members that. So,
Oh.
Well, you know,
he was firing some usernames at me.
Oh,
okay.
I got you.
Now those all are his ghost accounts.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, Rodney, let's talk a flurry of activity earlier in the week. Let's start with Stafford Willis, offensive lineman from Arab, Alabama. What can you tell us about him?
Yeah, I mean, again, I think he was a guy that Alabama had some other highly rated players, I think, that initially they were recruiting, and it looked like things were going in a different direction. And he's an in-state player that I think has impressed them at camps and stuff. And 6'5", about 285. He's got. You look at him and you say, okay, most high school offensive linemen, he's a developmental player. Could play on the outside at tackle, could play guard. So he's got some versatility to him. And I think that they feel like he's a guy. Hey, we take him, we develop him, and he's got connections to the state and to Alabama, and he's a guy that'll stick around.
Another commitment for Alabama, Tyler Younger. You like the measurables with this guy. Edge rusher, 6'4", 6'5", 220 pounds. What can you tell about us about the Norcross junior youngster?
Well, I think you're right about the measurables. You like those a lot. I think the frame that he has to get bigger is certainly impressive, and I think that he came into camp. Alabama's coaching staff had a great opportunity to kind of eyeball him and see how he would fit into their system, and they really liked him. I mean, he had a tremendous camp. I think that's one of the values of camp. You get in front of the coaching staff, you can make an impression, but also I think the fact that they can see you and say, okay, this guy's a real fit for us is an advantage for them. So I think the camp is really what sealed it for him.
All right, what about Darius White, a 3-star cornerback, another Georgia kid that Alabama has dipped into the state lines of Georgia to bring to Tuscaloosa? What can you tell us about him? He's a big guy, I think, 6'3", 185, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the one thing Alabama probably does as well as anyone in the country is recruit the secondary. They recruit a lot of high-profile players. They've had a lot of success landing those players, but they also do a tremendous job of evaluating kids like Darius White, who is a 3-star rated player, but you mentioned it. I mean, he's got great height, great length, and if you kind of follow the track record of Alabama's recruiting in the secondary, those are the kind of players they like. They've probably got as tall a corners as I've seen. I mean, when you just look at it across the board. So he fits that kind of profile that they look for in the secondary, and, he's a good-looking player.
Rodney Orr, Tider Insider, joining us, his customary spot here on Three Man Front. All of our guests join us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Heard Kalen DeBoer in response to a question about recruiting and maybe the mode of operation moving forward and some of the things that went into it, but also describing some of the guys that were silently committed. I'm not asking for those names, but what can Alabama fans like Conrad be looking forward to when some of those big names do announce that indeed they're going to be an Alabama Crimson Tide player?
Well, I think, probably some of those silent commitments that he mentioned or was referring to probably have already gone public, would be one of the things. But I also think that a guy like Osani Gales, the wide receiver out of IMG, I think he's a guy to really keep an eye on. I think he announces on the 27th here in a couple of days. And tremendous player to Alabama, Washington, and Stanford. Most expect him to pick Alabama, so that would be a really big pickup. I think locally, a lot closer to home, Jeremiah Beverly, the linebacker at Tuscaloosa Hillcrest, just 10 minutes from campus. He announces tomorrow. He'll announce his decision. He's expected to be Alabama. Again, he's a 3-star rated player, not widely recruited, but a guy that they've kind of evaluated and feel like he could fit in, somewhat like Zay Hall last year from Hillcrest. And then, I think that probably Kyron Caldwell's another one, the wide receiver from Lake City, Florida. He's going to announce on the 4th. So I think he's a guy to really keep a close eye on as well as a 3-star rated wide receiver. And I think, those would be 3 that would really jump out to me. There's some others. Elias Mayo, the JUCO corner out of Modesto, out in Stockton, California. He's a JUCO player, about 6'4", 190. Again, that tall length that he has as a DB, could play multiple positions. Now, I will say this. He announces on the 8th. He has visited Cal. Tosh has been recruiting him really hard, so that's one to watch there. And I know a lot of Alabama fans have asked about Hayden Stepp, the great cornerback out of Las Vegas. And, there was a time when it looked like maybe it was kind of trending towards Alabama, but now it looks like as he draws closer to his announcement on July 1st, that he's probably going to end up at Oregon.
All right, so we're so used to you coming on this program, and we appreciate it each and every week, even in the off season. You just give us so much great information. And this time of the year, we're always used to the Firecracker 5. Now, I understand that maybe bit of a change of the name this year, perhaps. I'm not really sure. I know some people on Tider Insider have suggested certain things, but what's some of those players that you got your eyes on? I know you've mentioned a good bit of them here in the last 10 minutes, but part of that Firecracker 5 or the Sparkler Special, whatever you want to call it, what do you got in store for this 4th of July?
Yeah, it's funny because they were talking about this was going to be there's no way there could be a Firecracker 5. There's not even 5 guys or whatever. And, they were coming up with names. I thought the best one was Sparkler Special. And somebody suggested that it would be 2 preferred walk-ons, but no, it'd be a lot better. It's going to be better than that.
Okay.
No, and I mentioned them. I think, I went ahead and kind of put something out of preview last night. Sonny Gales, obviously the wide receiver would be one that I would go with, and Jeremiah Beverly, the linebacker from Hillcrest that we mentioned, and then, also Kyron Caldwell, the receiver from down there. And, we'll see. There could be some other guys that emerge right now. It's just, I don't want to say the Firecracker 5 is fizzling this year, but, yeah, it probably is, So we may just go with the Sparkler Special for now.
Love it. Love it. I know fans don't love maybe the connotation there, but it is creative.
Might as well have fun with it, right?
Yeah.
Sure.
They're handling it okay because, look, I think, most people realize, okay, look, some of these guys they're good players. They're not rated as high as what Alabama fans are used to. That bothers them. A small class really bothers them, as you know. But now, look, they've recruited extremely well, 3 straight top 3 classes the last few years, and they've got a chance to fill in some things with the portal. So I don't think fans, there's a lot of back and forth and some, but it's not too bad yet. That's why I think, guys, I think it's important that Alabama have a good year, make the playoffs, because, listen, if they fall short, I think you guys know what's going to happen. This recruiting class and not getting to the playoffs, that might be more than they can handle.
No, you're absolutely right. And this is not an excuse, and this is for every program out there, not just Alabama, that if you don't have a good recruiting class, according to the numbers or the experts, whether it's On 3, Rivals, or 247, whatever the case may be, there's that thing called the transfer portal. And as long as you have money, you can always correct some wrongs through a recruiting class by going out and spending probably a lot of money, probably overspend to try to correct those issues. So with that being said, if Alabama and this philosophy, what they have in this class, doesn't seem to pan out, then if Alabama can find some money underneath the cushions of the couch at Greg Burns' office, maybe they could go out and get who they need supplement-wise on their roster.
Could, and, I think a lot of people are concerned because think about this. Right now, there are 2 linemen committed, and one on offense, one on defense.
Right.
They just lost their guy that was their best defensive line prospect, most people's opinion, Mitchell Turner, who a lot of people were projecting to Alabama for 3-4 months now from Louisville, Mississippi, and he just committed to Ole Miss. And Antoine Jackson, who is out of Collierville, Tennessee, an edge player, is probably going to be a bandit defensive end at Alabama. Now it looks like he may end up elsewhere as well. So all of a sudden, people are saying, "What are you going to do?" And I think they feel like they're going to retain a lot of the guys that they have right now on both sides of the line of scrimmage. So maybe they don't use the portal to hit the linemen, but it's certainly an option.
And you just better hope that the people that you are putting that faith in and development, that you can develop them, because if not, you might not want them to be retained for next year.
Well, that, and also, again, like you guys know, some of these guys, you don't know who's going to hit the portal.
Right.
Now, with that said, I've heard of cases, and you guys probably have too, it's not just Alabama, but these schools are signing these kids now to these NIL deals, or these collectives are, and if you leave that school, then you may have a big buyout, So that's kind of maybe discouraging some of these kids and keeping them, helping with retention. I don't know. I don't know how much Alabama's dabbling in that, but like I think I said last week, there was word that Michael Carroll Notre Dame flirted highly trying to get him last year, and I think that maybe a buyout was one thing that helped Alabama.
That is Rodney Orr. You can follow all of the very latest in recruiting at TiderInsider.com. Rodney, hope you have a wonderful weekend. We will catch up with you again next week as we're another day closer to the college football season. We always appreciate it.
guys. Appreciate it. Look forward to it. Take care.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Rodney.
That is Rodney Orr, joined us on the Higginbotham Hotline. Higginbotham is your one-source solution for insurance, financial, and HR services.
NCAA rule gets passed already. You got a lawsuit that has been presented. We'll tell you what it is next.
It is 11:18. Welcome back into Jocks. Appreciate Rodney Orr joining the program. We'll talk to Rob Pate, former Auburn DB, coming up a little bit later. You know, DraftKings Sports is now live in all 50 states. Yes, that means you, Alabama. The whole world is watching one tournament right now. Group stage chaos, knockout drama, stoppage time, heartbreak. The DraftKings Sports app is now live in Alabama, so whether you're catching your early kickoff before work or that late match at the bar, you're in on every minute, every match, every moment, all in one app. Right here in Alabama, the world's biggest stage is in the palm of your hand. New DraftKings customers sign up with code JOX945, spend $5, get $200 in total rewards. That's code JOX945. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Event trading offered by DraftKings Predictions, a CFTC registered introducing broker. Trading involves risk of loss. Market availability varies. Eligibility restrictions apply. $50 every 7 days via click-to-claim issued in non-withdrawable predictions dollars that expire in 1 year. Ends June 28th. Terms dkng.co/predictions promo.
NCAA passes a rule that's going to allow athletes 5 seasons of competition over a 5-year period that begins with their full-time enrollment or the academic year following their 19th birthday. Those athletes whose eligibility expired by spring of 2026 under the traditional model, 4 years of competition over 5 years, will not be allowed a 5th year of competition under the new rules. That being said, a lawsuit was filed yesterday in a Cincinnati court, Hamilton County to be exact, seeking temporary and permanent injunctive relief that would allow a 5th year of competition for athletes who graduated from high school in 2022 and began their college sports careers that fall and never redshirted. So we got that going on. Big surprise that we get a lawsuit just after a rule is passed.
Didn't take long at all. And we also mentioned the fact that in August, the FBS Oversight Committee, they're going to take a look at a few things, including a new out-of-season activities model that would replace the current spring practice and summer activities legislation that would allow FBS schools to conduct 2 out-of-season practice period, total 21 days. They also a preseason practice period, which would consist of 27 calendar days to conduct 21 practices. There's also the transfer portal window. They are now suggesting that it go to 10 days as opposed to 15, and it would begin the first business day following January 1st. All of those items will be voted on August, mid-August, right before the season starts.
Well, I mean, I feel like some of these bigger issues that we've talked about over the course of however long we've had NIL and the transfer portal, they've been addressed. Like hey, why is the guy out there that's 29 years old? I feel like that this is going to help with a lot of that. You might have extenuating cases. The portal, we're continuing to try to neaten that thing up, but I feel like we made strides there in doing away with the spring portal. It seemed like everybody was on board. The tampering, we now have rules that are actually set in place for tampering, and some of the cases that we've gotten most recently with a player who was at Clemson and then ended up at Ole Miss. But some of these other bigger issues, they're going to have to be worked out. And the biggest issue for the SEC and the Big Ten, I would think, it just all comes down to the media rights and the limitation of not being having the ability to expand if you saw fit in 10 years to add a couple of schools, or to basically use the good old capitalistic model that you've used in creating your brand. You've worked that brand. That brand now garners millions, billions of dollars, but you not having control over that in the future, or not really knowing where that control is coming from. That would be very unsettling to me.
Yeah. The Protect College Sports Act, it's crystallizing the Power League memberships. They're freezing it where nobody can move. You can't add anybody. You can't relegate anybody. Let's say you've had enough of Mississippi State in the league. You can't tell them to hit the pavement. They're a member of the Southeastern Conference moving forward. If this turns into law, Trey Wallace from Outkick, Fox Sports, he reached out to Senator Maria Cantwell's office last night about certain sections in the PCSA that would prevent P4 conferences from adding new members. Her office released this statement to Outkick. There will be conversations with more members in both chambers as this bill progresses forward, and there may be some modifications, end of quote. Well, that comes because the fact that her constituents in the state of Washington, that being in Pullman, Washington, in the eastern side of the state, they're not happy because they want to be a P4 program again. They don't want to be stuck there in the brand new Pac-12 with all of those type schools like Boise. I mean, they want that golden ticket like they had before when they were able to play Washington and Oregon and the rest of those teams. It's not going to happen again, but now again, Cantwell's wanting to revisit it and maybe make some modifications.
I would love to revisit the conversation of when she was informed by either someone directly or somebody of her staff that this was going on and what her reaction was. Was it, oh, crap, I forgot about Washington State?
Well, and when this first, I guess we first started talking about it, wasn't initially just the SEC and the Big Ten because they didn't want the Super League. So maybe that's where she was still thinking, oh, I forgot that this also includes some of the other schools.
Yeah.
Because maybe the ACC would have wanted Washington State or the Big 12, but
especially the one in your state that feels like that they have been picked on, stomped on, lit on fire twice.
Well, they did, yeah.
Seems like that would have been in your notes.
Well, when she comes
and Oregon
out,
State's in the background, don't forget about us.
I mean, when she comes out and she says, we're not going to let the most powerful and richest conferences dictate the rest of America what's going to happen to the 500,000 athletes. She also added that the SEC and the Big Ten are threatening intimidation on the schedule of games. She says there is intimidation here. Talking about the Big Ten and the SEC.
Well, is that the only arrow you have left in the quiver?
So once again, why do these people think that if I was the SEC or the Big Ten, it's like, oh, okay, once again, you're wanting to take our money.
What other levers did the SEC and the Big Ten have?
And you're going to ask us to subsidize everybody else. Like, that doesn't make any sense. So guess what? I'm not going to schedule a MAC team to play us. Sorry, because you're already taking my money anyway to subsidize our athletics department. I mean, Conrad and his family, they don't want to come watch, Miami of Ohio play Alabama in football. They don't want to see that.
Oh, that would have been funny like 2 years ago.
But you see my point.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
But wouldn't you also say that, okay, well, it's intimidation on the SEC and Big Ten's behalf. Well, aren't they trying to do the same thing and intimidate those conferences in order to get them to play ball? Like,
isn't intimidation politics 101?
Yeah, it's this,
if you do this, we're going to do this, and don't even think about doing that because remember this?
You're doing the same exact thing you're accusing them of doing.
Of course.
But they don't see it that way.
No, but I go back. What else? Now that you're being told this, and it seems like it's the world against you and the Big Ten, what is the SEC supposed to do? What other leverage do you have than the scheduling?
I've said it from day one. I think that the Big Ten and the SEC, I do believe that they feel positive that this thing is not going to pass the Senate. Even if it gets past the Senate, it's not going to pass the House of Representatives. So there's no reason to be worried about all this. Let's try to improve the bill. I think that's why Greg Sankey's in D.C. right now. But, I mean, just think about it. If it does appear that this thing's going to go through, guess what I'm doing? I'm on the phone to Clemson. Yeah. I'm on the phone to Florida State. If I'm the Big Ten, I'm calling North Carolina and Virginia. Hey, guys.
Gobble them up.
Let's go. I mean, this is going to be a massive land grab right here. And we're going to take these teams and to hell with all this other stuff that we're talking about in this bill. Just like forget about it. We're going to flex one more time. If you're about to handcuff us for the next 50 years, then you know what? Let's go ahead and line up the people that we want to go to battle with for the next 50 years. Go for it. Get them.
Yeah.
And don't think for a second that Florida State and Clemson will not be on the phone with Greg Sankey this afternoon.
Is there anything in this current legislation or in the 111 pages, because I didn't see it when I scanned through it, that says if you're operating at a $500 million deficit in your athletics department, then maybe that's where the government takes over and says, hey, you can't keep spending all of this money.
You mean like UCLA?
That you're not getting back. I was thinking about Rutgers.
I'm glad you mentioned that because they recorded, this is recently, $78 million operating deficit. $78 million. This was on their latest tax documents. Since 2014, the Scarlet Knights, since they joined the Big Ten, the total athletic department budget deficit sits at $516.9 million. $500 million. The Rutgers Athletics Department.
Since 2014.
Since 2014, when they joined the Big Ten Conference.
That's right. They came from the Big East. Where were they? Where was Rutgers? They were Big East, right? Yeah. We get them on those Thursday nights. We get a lot of Thursday night Rutgers games.
$516.9 million. They are in a deficit in their athletics program. So then you ask the question, okay, well, is Rutgers any good at anything? Like, why are you in the Big Ten? Because obviously you're not making enough money because you have $516.9 million as a deficit. So let's take the Rutgers baseball team this year. They went 26-30 on the season. They went 13-17 in Big Ten play. They were not selected for the NCAA tournament, thereby making the Scarlet Knights the only Power 4 program not to reach the postseason in any of the 6 major sports that they sponsor. Not a one. You are $516 million in the hole, and none of your Power 4 programs, the major 6 teams that you field, none of them made the postseason. Not a one. That's football, volleyball, men's, women's basketball, baseball, and softball. Not one single one of those programs at Rutgers made the postseason. They had a collective record of 31-90 in the Big Ten in those sports. That is a 344 winning percentage. 344 winning percentage in your conference.
Yes.
All right, how about this? Football, 5-7, 2-7 in the Big Ten. Volleyball, 12-20, 3-17 in the Big Ten. Men's basketball, 14-20, 6-14 in league play. Women's basketball, 9-20, 1-17 in Big Ten play. They won one game in the Big Ten Conference in women's basketball. Baseball, 26-30, 13-17 in the Big Ten. Softball, 27-27. Hey, good for them. 500 team, but they went 6-18 in the Big Ten Conference. So the only Power 4 program not to reach the postseason in any of the major 6 sports that you sponsor, and you're $516.9 million in the hole. But yeah, let's keep that train rolling in Piscataway.
I'm doing a deeper dive on Rutgers athletics. The last time that they won a championship, just a tournament championship, 2021, and it was women's field hockey.
That's a cash cow.
Played a lot of sports.
Brings in a lot of money.
I've got another one for you, a little bit closer to home. Let's go to Louisville, Kentucky, where Louisville Athletics expects to run a deficit of $30 million in 2027.
Well, that's just their signing class from their portal in basketball.
It's their 5th negative balance in 8 years. 5 of the last 8 years, the Louisville Athletics program has operated in a deficit. The projected deficit is $18.8 million, higher than the department's $11.2 million in fiscal year of 2026. So now they're taking on $7 to $8 million more of a deficit. So they're not going the opposite way of paying down their debt. They're continuing to say, hey, let's go to the transfer portal. Let's do this. Let's do this. But Louisville, $30 million deficit.
But it's worth the spin, right? In football, college football playoff. Oh, wait. No, they didn't. Final Four in basketball. Nope.
So if you take these 2 Power 4 programs, that's collectively just those 2 programs, and you add that up, that is almost $600 million of deficit for 2 Power 4 programs. And if they can't make it work, then you're supposed to take all that money from the SEC and the Big Ten and give it to the Miami and the Ohios of the world.
Right.
And you're going to be able to subsidize, because you can't even subsidize these 2 programs by the amount of money that the ACC and the Big Ten is getting. You see my point?
Mm-hmm.
But we're supposed to pay for everybody else when these 2 programs, and there's countless others. I mean, I just gave you 2 prime examples because I've got the numbers right in front of me. I mean, this is a more of a systemic problem across all Power 4 programs, not just these 2. But now all of a sudden, the money that those 2 powerful programs are getting are supposed to subsidize the rest of college sports.
Yeah. You're going underwater in debt just to keep your head up above water.
Barely.
On a day-to-day.
Yeah.
And do you look at it like I feel like a lot of our politicians in Washington have felt or have done for a long time. You feel like you're spending the next generation's money, so who cares?
I mean, I just gave you the 6 biggest programs at Rutgers, big place, big school. They have a 344 winning percentage. 344. And no telling how much your student service fees at that university is going to offset the costs of the softball, baseball, women's basketball, men's basketball, volleyball, and football teams that has a 344 winning percentage.
Meanwhile, they can look just across the way and look at a St. John's program that's figured out a way to make it work.
Thanks to Rapoli.
Yeah.
10 minutes away, we'll talk to Rob Pate, former Auburn DB, as we roll on this Thursday. It is 11:37 here on Jock's three-man front. You know, earlier this morning, the SEC and Allstate Insurance, they have announced a new multi-year partnership focused on women's sports. The agreement includes the creation of the Allstate SEC Women's Champions Cup, a year-long competition recognizing the conference's top-performing women's athletic programs, along with the title sponsorship of the SEC Nation Bus and presenting sponsorship of the SEC Awards. The deal also makes Allstate the first title sponsor of the SEC's Women's Volleyball Tournament and presenting sponsor of the SEC Women's Soccer Tournament broadcasts on the SEC Network. With this agreement with the conference, Allstate now becomes the official insurance partner of all 4 power conferences while continuing its sponsorship of the SEC Championship event. So how about that? A insurance sponsor for every single Power 4 conference.
Love it, love it, love it. Now we're thinking outside of the box, right?
Don't you remember that rumor a couple of years ago how Brett Yormark was kind of kicking around the idea of
Monterey.
no, not only that, but perhaps changing the name of the Big 12 conference to a corporate sponsor.
Yeah.
And there was always the rumor because I believe both Allstate and State Farm are based in Illinois, which is obviously a huge Big Ten state. And so, and the Big Ten headquarters are in Chicago. So there was a lot of talk that perhaps one of those insurance companies could potentially even be a title sponsor to the Big Ten or the Big 12.
If the SEC ever did that, who would it be? I'm thinking Delta, but
yeah,
based there in Atlanta. Seems like it would make sense.
But see, Southwest is the official airlines of the Southeastern Conference.
Well, they are right now, but
yeah,
when we're renaming the conference, Southwest, you're going
I think we should call
up.
it the Maria Cantwell Conference.
What if we had it was Air Dubai? Like Air Dubai was willing to pay that price tag.
Air Emirates.
Air Emirates. Have you seen some of the things they have on those planes?
Mm-hmm.
It's nice.
It's really nice.
It's really nice. Yeah.
That's one where you're like, you know what?
Those ones that have like the bed and every. And like,
If we have to circle for another hour and a half, I'm good.
I think some of them have showers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Leather couches.
Yeah.
You got your bed. You got your own little attendant with a little hat. They do that overseas still.
So in this sponsorship with Allstate, they're also going to begin, I guess it's called the SEC Women's Champions Cup. And I suppose it will be very similar to the Learfield Directors Cup.
Yeah.
And it is now official as Learfield Directors Cup. The Texas Longhorns, they win the Directors Cup again. So SEC.
Congratulations, Texas.
Wins another championship, this time in the Directors Cup.
Looking at you, Sark.
So as I'm sitting here looking, Texas, obviously the number 1 athletics department in the SEC, according to the statistics and the standings, based on their success on the field. Who do you guys think off the top of your head would be number 2?
Florida would be an easy guess in past years.
And you are so right. You'll go for number 3.
I do.
Okay.
Number 3, Pat, we will go with Oklahoma.
It would be Georgia. This is the rankings according to the Directors Cup. Texas 1, Florida 2, Georgia 3, Texas A&M 4, Alabama number 5. So Bama finishes 5 in the SEC according to the Directors Cup. Arkansas 6, Tennessee 7, Oklahoma 8, LSU 9, Auburn 10. Kentucky 11, Ole Miss 12, Vandy 13, South Carolina 14. So you got 2 schools left. Who do you think finished dead last in the Directors' Cup from the Southeastern Conference?
I'm sorry because I did not hear all of the Mississippi State.
Good guess. They were 15th. The University of Missouri finished dead last.
Well, they're barely in the conference anyways.
From the Southeastern Conference.
Missouri does. I'm glad you said that. Oklahoma should feel that way, but Missouri feels like a skin tag.
Yeah.
It's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
I don't like those.
I don't either.
I don't like those.
So Alabama finished 13th overall in the country. Auburn finished 26th in the country.
Well, at least we're better at that than recruiting.
Hugh Freeze, that's on you.
Texas was 1, Stanford 2, UCLA 3, North Carolina 4, Virginia. And people kind of scoff when we say, hey, put Virginia in the SEC.
I would like to see how much a men's golf title, what that meant for Auburn. What?
Like how the points are weighed?
And women's tennis. How does that work?
Yeah.
Molly's alma mater, Nebraska, they were 17th. They were right ahead of LSU and Notre Dame.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Oklahoma was 16. Tennessee was 15. Arkansas 14. As I mentioned, Bama was 13.
Arkansas. All right.
I was about to say that's better than I would have guessed. Basketball help.
Well, when they win almost every track and field
that's true, yeah.
competition.
Yeah, you're right.
Hunter Yurachek is able to hang the banners on that. Rob Pate, former Auburn
Steer
DB.
wrestling, too.
Yeah. He joins us next on the program. It is 11:47. Welcome back in. This is Three-Man Front on Jocks. Pat Landrum, Molly Conrad with you until 2 o'clock. Let's go down to Lee County. Our good friend Rob Pate joins us here on Three-Man Front. Dr. Pate, I hope you're doing well.
Hey, guys. I'm good. How are y'all?
How's the new homestead coming along? Everything moved in? Everything good?
Yeah, man. It's good. We had 3 big moves in 1 week. So we're still trying to recover from that, but no, it's been fine.
This place where you moved, did you know people in the neighborhood where you were moving? I'm curious. Do people still, when you move into a neighborhood, do they still like bring
you a
cookies
casserole?
or? Yeah, hey, we're the Wilsons. Just like to meet you. Welcome you guys in the neighborhood. Any of that?
Well, we know everybody that's out there. This is a family farm. It's been in Auburn since 1932,
oh, wow.
And they've taken half of it to develop it. And Will Herring is part of that development. And Will and I have always been really good friends, and he's like a brother to me. And so he's right across the pasture, and so they've been there. We're the first house built on this new development.
Nice.
And so yeah, but we're going to be surrounded by a lot of people that we know, a lot of friends that are from the area, and just going to do life together, man. It's going to be fun.
Awesome. That's great news. Well, as we sit here today, and I'm not going to get too deep in the weeds, Rob, in regards to Auburn recruiting, but they're having a top 10 recruiting class right now based on all the experts around high school football that covers this stuff. Just your thoughts on just the vibe that you feel. I mean, you're in that community, you're in that market in regards to, I guess, the enthusiasm for Golish and this team, because they're going out and doing a really good job getting young people to commit to Auburn.
He's done a phenomenal job, and you got to tip your hat to that entire staff. And obviously they're led by the head coach, and the energy that he's injected into the program, and just what these kids see in him. And I haven't had an opportunity to really spend a lot of time around any practices or even Coach Golish himself, but watching some of the footage and, watching kind of how they built up into the spring game and what his demeanor's like around the players. It's exciting because you can tell those guys really, really enjoy his presence, and they want to please him. He speaks their language, but he also is really demanding and holds people accountable. I just think there's a lot of really, really good qualities that we have lacked in some regards at that head coaching position. I mean, he wants to be here. He wants to win at the highest level. You can tell that he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's a little bit cocky and a little bit arrogant, but it's in a kind of the way that you want it to be from your head coach. So we'll see. I mean, obviously, it all comes down to performance and winning games. And at Auburn, you're always going to have a hellacious schedule to have to navigate, and we know that. He knows that. But I think he feels like he's got pieces to be competitive. I still don't think Auburn, from a skill standpoint, from top to bottom, is in the same level as the top echelon of this league. But I think Auburn's going to have the best quarterback play they've had since Bo Nix and Jarrett Stidham and that type of player. And that'll give them a chance. And DJ Durkin and what they do defensively won't go away. So Auburn will be a tough out for anybody they play.
As far as in-game coaching, and you were talking about Alex Golesh and that staff, based on what we got from Hugh Freeze or what we didn't see in those particular games, a lot of close losses, as we all know, a lot of those at home, uncharacteristically in the last couple of years. But if there's a stark contrast, what do you want to see in those types of games from this coaching staff, Rob?
I just want to see these guys implement a belief system that guys believe they're supposed to win. And you could almost feel, you play programs that you're accustomed to seeing win. When Georgia gets in a tight game, you expect somebody from Georgia to make a play. When Alabama is in a tight game, you expect somebody to rise up and make a play. Auburn just hasn't had that. Auburn's been competitive, has taken these teams to the wire. And then when it's time to hold on to that lead or make the play to get over the hump, we just don't have the belief system or the ability to get that done. And some of that's been coaching and putting guys in position to make that play. And some of it has just been on the player and being able to get it done. And a lot of it, I think, is just cultural in that, Auburn we haven't been a team that takes that moment by the horns and make something happen. And so that has to change. And I think that starts at the top. And I think that he's going to be a guy that's going to demand that. And hopefully that'll make for some pleasant afternoons and nights come fall Saturdays.
Realistic expectation. Vegas says 6.5. That is the number, the win total for this Auburn football team this year. Bowl game for you, what's the number, the ceiling, I should say, with this Auburn team, in your opinion?
I think that the ceiling would probably be 8 to 9 games, because that means you win your games at home, which I think we will probably be a favorite in almost all of those, if not all of them. And then I would include that Baylor game in that as well, because you're playing that in what is effectively a home scenario, even though I know there's been a lot of issues and consternation about losing a home game. But if you win all those games, the 7 games, that means you have to go on the road and beat an Alabama, a Georgia, a Tennessee, or I believe an Ole Miss is our other road game. Those are tall tasks. Those are all 4 really good football teams that are going to be very difficult to walk in their place and win. So if you pick off one of those, that gets you to 8. And, for me, anything above that would be a massive accomplishment and victory. I still think that Auburn has to get to a point where 10 wins is that ceiling, because we haven't had consecutive 10-win seasons at Auburn since 1989 and 1990. That's a long time. And to build a program and to be able to sustain it, which has been our issue, that 10-win marker has to be something that you're able to do. And we just have not been able to get that done as a program.
Rob Pate, former Auburn DB, current eye doctor, and just a heck of a human being. Entrepreneur as well. How's Sweet Frog?
Sweet Frog is good. It's, we're interesting. We're not as busy in the summer as we are in the spring and the fall because of the student population. So,
okay.
But it's still great. Community's been awesome. And, man, we have a lot of fun interacting with everybody and got a great staff. We've been blessed by it. It's been phenomenal.
Now that freshman 15, is it still a real deal, Rob? You take advantage of all those freshmen and all their eating habits changing.
Well, it's not just a freshman, man. I got about 15 pounds I need to lose too. I've got to get to where I just eat this on the weekend.
Go run around the farm.
Yeah.
You'll lose it.
Well, I got a lot of grass to cut now, so but I still got twin boys at home that's gonna knock that out for me.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm glad you got a
We'll
new
get
place
there.
because I am staying with you, right, for the Auburn Hewitt game, right? Are you allowing me to stay in your guest room?
Absolutely, man. Come on, you can stay with me.
All right. Sounds good. Rob, have a great weekend. Tell the family hello. We'll talk to you again next week.
Thanks, Rob.
All right, guys. Thank you. War Eagle.
War Eagle to you, Rob.
This isn't your average podcast.
We threw like a spontaneous party out of nowhere. It was crazy.
This is Full Send.
Drake weekend in Toronto. That's like, imagine telling me that like 10 years ago. That's yo, you're going to rip with Drake for his album launch release party in Toronto. Like, I'm not passing that up for anything.
Join the party.
She went to Met Gala. He went to the game.
What is the Met Gala? Ridiculous.
I think it's an excuse to dress up like an idiot and go to a ball.
The Full Send podcast.
Oh, we're ready.
Follow and listen on your favorite platform.
One Night with Steiny.
One Night with Steiny. Shout out, Full Send now.
Hey, bro, what's your name, bro?
Steiny, what the hell? We've been sitting here for like an hour together.
I don't know your name. What's your name, bro?
Steiny. I can't guarantee anything. All I can guarantee is that you're going to be entertained. I'm a professional. I'm here to interview.
So the whole interview, you didn't ask me what I like better, Burger King or McDonald's.
All right, and we are going to wrap up on that note. Thank you, Steve, so much. That was amazing.
Burger King.
One Night with Steiny. One Night with Steiny, baby. Let's go.
One Night with Steiny. Follow and listen on your favorite platform.